what you reminded me of, because you were talking about Bree was talking about Frozen and how they were challenging the tropes or whatever. And did you guys catch recently how fucking conservative people all over the country were pissed off at Disney for the Don't Say Gay bill?
Yeah. For what?
Happening in Florida. Well, apparently Florida, DeSantis has like a Don't Say Gay bill or whatever. And Disney, I don't know what the bill is. You can't Disney went against it or said something, like the CEO said something specifically about it. So conservative Twitter was like, yo, fuck Disney, we'll never be supporting them again.
Shut
blah,
up.
blah,
they say the same shit like every other fucking month.
Bro,
Nobody wants your fucking viewership.
But here's what I want to point out. The irony of all that. Because to talk about tropes, for decades, conservative people use Disney as a model for conservatism.
Yep.
As a model for like what women should be like, the idea of finding love, the idea of like not having autonomy, the idea of like, you know what I'm saying? So like, I just found it like extremely ironic for them to be like, oh, never gonna be supporting you again, when like y'all used those tropes so much to build or not maybe build your ideology, but definitely support it.
I mean, I get that, but also I just thought it was hilarious. I'm not super attached to that, because I'm also like, yeah, sure. Like when all those like, I'm not necessarily, well, not that I wouldn't say I'm not a champion for those like princess stories and stuff like that, because I think they're fun. I get what you're saying, but I also think like Disney is a company that has existed for so many fucking years through so many different decades. I'm not mad if the CEO now it's like, hey, we shouldn't stand for that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No. I'm not mad at the CEO.
That's where I'm saying, like, I don't bat an eye. I'm not like, I don't hear that, and I'm like, that's bold of Disney, because they have, because I'm like, well, yeah, it's 2022.
And Disney has increasingly been showing like support for inclusivity of all sorts. Sure. So they even have a show, I think is it Love Victor or something like that, or another show in Disney of this girl who is pretty much like, I don't think they say it necessarily, but they do insinuate that she questions her sexuality at one point or another, and so they're like, people are like, oh wow, that's cool that they're teaching kids that it's like, sometimes that will happen. And you just don't know. You know what I mean?
Teenagers, yeah.
Teenagers or whatever. Whoever's watching Disney. That's like something normal.
Right. Yeah, no, I just thought it was ironic. To hear conservative people like all of a sudden like bash Disney, like, oh, I'm never gonna support you again. When they used Disney as like as the archetype for what love was supposed to be in these like very bad tropes that weren't necessarily about the tropes, but like were subtly implied of like these princesses that have to fall in love with the first kiss
and I think that Disney's doing a good job at like dissociating themselves from those kinds of tropes now.
Good for them.
Because like watching all of the Disney movies, all the princess movies now, they're never about love.
They're about strong women.
They're all about women being like, fuck you.
To your point about when we were talking about Coco and Encanto and stuff. To your point about,
I finally watched Encanto.
Hold on. To your point about them being about all strong women or whatever, but. Political ideology aside, good for them, because that makes for much better storytelling.
It does.
Like, you know what I mean? Aside from like where it stands on the political spectrum or on the ideological spectrum, that is almost irrelevant. If you want to be a good storyteller, you have to talk about things that are nuanced and in the gray. Yeah. And if you really want to captivate people, or at the very least, if you want to see people actually see themselves in your characters, not necessarily like actually like physically, like in terms of like the color of your skin, in terms like that, but just like archetypally, you have to then start talking about a little bit more ambiguous things, and the tropes of the old school Disney fantastical princesses getting saved from the castle and living happily ever after. As fun as that story may seem just on a surface level, once you get to a Frozen, or once you get to a whatever new movie coming out of a much better, once you get to a Tangled, once you get to like a Brave, you know what I mean, these kinds of stories, they make for much better stories. I fucks with Tangled heavy. I watched that movie like
all fucking day long.
I watched that movie a lot actually, because Tangled that movie's so
over
good.
Frozen all
Tangled over Frozen.
Tangled is so good.
Don't fight me because I don't want to fucking hear it.
I'll fight you.
I was about to say you can only do like that same story of like that typical princess meets prince falls in love kind of thing so many times, and then I immediately thought about Hallmark, and Hallmark has told the same story over and over again.
Every movie is telling the same story. We just
What's the trope in Tangled? What's the trope? What's the trope in Tangled? You guys are much better at this than I am.
So that would be more of
I
like
think that's also enemies to lovers.
Well, I would think it's more of a forced
proximity.
Because she needs his help for something, and he does too.
He's
so
not necessarily her enemy.
I like that. I like his character because he's so like ditzy. He's like not good at what he does, even though he, you know what I mean. So it's always like.
But see, I love that they bicker. I love that they don't fucking get along. Yeah, it's so fun.
I love that. Whenever they're like, I'm more of a fan of the one, not the ones that they bicker, but the ones where they're silently like butting heads, but you can see it in the show or the movie itself, where one of them is oblivious to the fact that the other one likes them, and the other one's like, dude, I like you so much, but you don't understand. Like there's that.
I'm about to go home and watch Tangled.
Example. Give me an example.
Well,
I guess it happens to How I Met Your Mother.
Pride and Prejudice. Like he was like all like. I
guess so.
He knew that he liked Lizzie. And he was like,
good.
He was all like, dude, can you just get that I like you? Like, without him having to say it. He didn't want to have to say it because they were butting heads.
Even 10 Things I Hate About You. Fucking Bianca and, oh my God.
And then, and then like Lizzie eventually starts figuring it out. And you're just all like, and then she starts being like, fuck, wait, he liked me this entire time. And then she's like, wait, so we weren't enemies. He loved me. And then, you know.
I'm just being difficult because I'm stubborn.
What movie did we watch? The rom-com that was the Irish guy that like
P.S. I Love You.
P.S. I Love You.
No, he's in P.S. I Love You, but we watched it recently. It's a different movie. It's the same character.
Is it The Ugly Truth?
Same actor.
The Ugly Truth.
I love The Ugly Truth.
Yeah.
I love The Ugly Truth. I love that. So funny.
The Ugly Truth.
That's
a funny movie, but I don't.
Wait, you said a favorite just romance movie. Yours was Pride and Prejudice.
Absolutely.
Mine is P.S. I Love You.
Mine is going to be After You.
After You, but I have a top three.
I've never watched it.
I have a top three when it comes to like just like
I don't know but I would after. Oh my God, you haven't seen that movie? No. And like again, like I love a good rom-com. I don't often watch like just romance movies. But After You is
After You's with
I would say P.S. I Love You is a much better movie about the 5 stages of grief than
100%
Who's After
Are you
You?
kidding?
Which one? Who's in it?
After You, it's Emilia Clarke who did
I love her.
Danny
I
and
love her little eyebrows.
Fucking
yes.
Oh my God.
Daenerys,
yes.
And Game of Thrones.
Jesus Christ.
She's the main bitch. I really like her in the movie where
not the movie. That's not the name of the. Watch me say the wrong name of.
Wait, is it the one about the girl?
Me Before You, not After You.
Stop. Me Before You. Fucking pulled on my heartstrings so much. I love that movie, and it made me so fucking sad.
Me Before You again on like the modern romance.
It had me on a fucking chokehold. Do you want to know why? Because I'm one of those.
Top 5.
It is.
I'll watch it. If it's top 5.
Watch it. 100% top 5.
It's one of those movies where I'm one of those people that wants.
It's a close proximity trope. 100%.
I want the happy ending. I want it.
That's fair.
No, I want it. I love when they end up like not giving you the happy ending that you want.
No, that breaks my heart. It breaks my heart so much, and I don't like my heart being broken. I'm too sensitive for that.
That's why I love Someone Great so much.
It makes me feel so upset. Like it makes me feel like I was wronged. It makes me feel like I lost the love of my life.
You are the victim.
Movies, not people. You are the victim.
Like my dramatic ass really is like, you did that to me. Like why would you do this? No, literally. Like that's why I can't